Hello guys, how are you doing? Especially people from the United Kingdom. I want to ask you how you feel about adult content. Do you think that access to the internet should be restricted for minors? Okay, no more questions. I'm referring to what is happening in the United Kingdom and beyond. Banning access to the internet and what is the role of Visa and MasterCard payment systems in this. How it all started and what it could eventually lead to. Today in the video I'm going to reveal this topic in more detail. To support me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. I'll appreciate that. Let's start with the role of Visa and MasterCard payment systems. Recently, Steam started deleting adult games. Dozens of adult games have been deleted from Steam, which, so to speak, have more daring scenes. Initially, gamers thought it was Valve's own initiative. However, Valve issued a statement saying that the payment systems had pressure on them. You may have a question, how can the payment systems put pressure on Valve at all? So now let's explain. As you know, to buy a game on Steam you have to use your bank card, which use payment system like Visa or MasterCard. If the seller violates the rules of the payment systems can disconnect them from their systems. The same situation happened to Valve. The payment systems decided that Steam contains some unsafe content which can harm their reputation. All that remained for Valve was to capitulate so that the entire platform wouldn't be damaged and could continue to function. It turns out that even if the platform doesn't violate any law and legally sells its products and services, the payment system may perceive a particular service or product to be unsafe and could sever all ties with the platform. You may ask, why did the payment system start acting against unsafe content only now? It's all because of Collective Shout. Collective Shout is an Australian activist group that describes itself as a grassroots movement challenging the objectification of women and sexualization of girls in media, advertising and popular culture. I read this from Wikipedia. Well, this group conducted active campaign encouraging Visa and MasterCard to stop supporting the platforms which have indecent adult content with themes that are not worth discussing here. Thanks to these fighters of justice, the payment system started to put pressure on Valve, and Valve found itself in a situation where it was better to obey and delete many adult games, some of which are completely legal. But the platform itch.io suffered more and was forced to delete thousands of games. As expected, the gamers and the developers complained that in this way they suppress creativity. You understand that some people earn their money in this way. Now they'll have to censor their content in order to be able to sell it. Okay, I'm personally not a big fan of these adult games, and I can say that the world won't suffer much from this. Today they banned the indecent adult games, tomorrow they will ban just adult games, and then they will ban the games which don't contain anything illegal and unsafe. I don't want to be negative about Collective Shout, but after all these successful campaigns, they felt they could influence the media sphere globally. However, this is an Australian group that initially tried to ban some movements in Australia. That keep in mind that it has several successful campaigns to ban. For example, an attempt to ban GTA 5 in Australia. In the future, it won't be the law, but payment systems and activist groups that will pull the strings and manage the media content. I don't want to find myself in a situation where I can buy a game that doesn't violate any laws, but all because some people have decided that the game is unsafe. But not everything is so sad. The GOG platform responded to the situation in the best possible way. GOG held a Freedom to Buy campaign, and as a part of this campaign they distributed 13 adult games for free. Postal 2 somehow turned out to be one of these games. Well then, let's talk about the events in the United Kingdom. To me, this situation here is worse than the one I was talking about above. The Online Safety Act in the United Kingdom has recently come into force. According to Ofcom, which is the regulator in Britain, children are already getting access to the adult content and other inappropriate material, sometimes by accident. The new law obliges any platforms with adult content to implement highly effective age verification. If you've ever visited sites with adult content, you've seen the age verification board. It used to be enough to click that you're 18, but now in order to access such sites, you must pass a video check or provide other information to confirm your age. I was shocked when I found out that all social networks and even Spotify are subject to the law. I think it's understandable that ordinary users are at a loss. You come home from work and you want to relax a little, but they force you to pass some video checks. Platforms have succumbed to pressure because they don't want to lose users and revenue or pay a huge fine. but small sites are not able to implement edge verification and will ignore the law or shut down completely. On the main page of the well-known site, a message appeared about the stupidity of this decision. Things have reached such a level that Britain has put forward requirements for Wikipedia to introduce edge verification, but Wikipedia refused because of their policy of minimizing user data collection. Now websites will collect biometrics. Some adults of the last generation will say it's the right thing to do so that people stop bullying each other on the internet and it becomes easier to catch criminals. But there is also another side to this coin. There may be a data leak and all information about you, including your biometrics, which unlike a password can be changed, could end up in the hands of intruders. After all, the edge verification system is not perfect. There have already been several funny cases where screenshots from the Death Stranding game were used, and a character from Garry's Mod was also used to undergo video verification. And don't forget, VPNs still exist. But the main problem is if the problem starts spreading globally. A similar bill is already being considered in the European Union. If this happens, then the internet on the passport will become real. This could seriously restrict freedom of speech and make open communication much more difficult, as every message and action will be linked directly to the user. People won't be able to speak out against or for, fearing potential consequences. It starts to feel more and more like George Orwell's 1984, where surveillance is constant and freedom is an illusion. As a result, the internet will lose its anonymity. So, what does it all mean for the users? It means that the free internet as we know it is being slowly replaced by a highly controlled and monitored system. Your activity, your messages, even your browsing habits may now be linked to your real identity. And all of this is happening under the usual excuse for your and children's safety. Also by this point, people began to realize the consequences of these events and started protesting and signed petitions against this initiative. And by the way, to watch the video, pass a video verification. Just kidding, no biometric scan needed for now. At the end of the video, I want to say that the pressure from the payment systems, government regulations and biometric checks is gradually turning the internet into something less free, less open and certainly less exciting. Some people may be indifferent to all this and consider it normal. I'll keep an eye on what happens next. Honestly, I don't want to end the video on a negative note. I personally would like to just enjoy watching videos online or playing my favorite games without any restrictions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video. That's all from me. I'm off to go on a rampage on the internet. Don't get lost and see you soon.